I'm Kira Reed Lorsch of Beckman and Amityville Witches, and you're listening to Spoiler Country.
Hey, people of Earth, it's time to enter the Spoilerverse via our secret portal at the exclusive Arctic Club in beautiful downtown Seattle with our hosts, John and Kenric. Welcome to Spoiler Country.
Hey, if you're listening to our show for the first time and you're on one of the social medias that we're on, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of those kinds of things, you should always check us out on Spoilerverse.com. But if you want to keep up with our latest episodes, you should bring out your smartphone, get into your favorite podcatcher, find Spoiler Country, and hit subscribe. Then you'll get all our new stuff.
And if you want to reach out to us, you can do that in two ways. You can call us, leave us a voicemail at 707-656-2080. Again, 707-656-2080. Or you can shoot us an email at spoilercountry@gmail.com.
Armies of the Spoilerverse unite, and welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric Regan. That is Mr. Horsley. And today on the show, well, it's the amazing, talented Kira Reed Lorsch.
Yeah, it is. She was a lot of fun to talk to. This, man, Kira, she's
super smart.
She is a person that does not stop working.
No, she's super smart. She's driven. She's motivated. And she's just a cool person to talk with. She really, really is. She's very open.
We had a great time talking with her.
Yeah, she's very open about what she does and how she does things. And she gave us some advice, which I think we're going to try to implement.
We're working on it, yeah.
Which was really smart. And I really, really dug talking with her.
What was great is you and I had no expectations going into this because we didn't know who she was.
Yeah, we did not really.
Like,
we saw movies that she was in.
We did research.
Yeah, from research, but we saw movies that she was in. But we didn't know her as a day-to-day name.
Yeah, but then after talking to her, I'm like, no, she's cool.
Yeah.
I want to have her back on because that was a lot of fun.
Yep. She's super cool and just a lot of fun. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy listening to Kira talk because she's got a lot to say.
Yeah. So what do you say we go ahead and do that now?
Yep, let's do it. Guys, welcome back. Today is super special because we have one of the busiest women in Hollywood right now today. Kira, you have been an Emmy-nominated actress. You've won Emmy Awards for producing, and right now you have, 2 movies coming out this year and a web series called Rumors, and you just got done doing some amazing stuff with one of my favorite actors of all time, Paul Sorvino.
Oh yeah. Well, I love being busy. It keeps me young, keeps me active. I think that our brain needs to be stimulated. And if I sit around doing nothing, I get myself in trouble. So the best way to stay out of trouble is to just keep busy. And what I love doing is, making movies. You mentioned Paul Sorvino.
Yep.
That movie, just so you know, just came out on Tubi this past month.
Cool.
It was pay-per-view and you can buy it on Amazon, but it just came out on Tubi this month. It's called Acts of Desperation, and it's a fun little movie. I was one of the producers and one of the actors in this crazy little dark comedy.
What was Paul Sorvino like?
Paul's crazy. I love him, but he's Paulie. Like, he's an old Italian curmudgeon, and he's 80 years old, and he's got a lovely wife that I met through my publicist Roger Neal, and Dee Dee I met, and we hit it off right away because she was fun. She was the life of the party, and she's an actress too, and then when I was trying to cast, we needed like this heavy hitter guy to be the chief of police for Acts of Desperation. I'm like, what about Paul Sorvino? And so the way I could get to Paul was through his wife. So I invited him and his wife to like sit at my table for the PGA, the Producers Guild Awards. And I had my publicist, sit me together with them at their Oscar party so I could woo her because he doesn't want to do anything. And he doesn't want to leave the house for less than so much money or so much money.
Right.
But what I realized is if I gave her a role in the movie, he'd do it for her.
Right.
So we played this little fun game where to get and shoot, but she's great in it too. She steals her scene as the bank teller. The story is there's a bank robber who's like a Robin Hood who goes around robbing banks and giving the money away, but he crosses paths with some people who figure out who he is and then try to bribe them. But they're a bunch of stoners living in a van, so they're inept. So it's kind of funny. And then as he's coming back from the heist, I'm this suicidal, crazy woman who's trying to jump off a bridge. And then the guy who's after the bank robber is the woman that I'm having the affair with.
Oh, wow.
And then I end up falling in love with the bank robber guy. So it becomes this whole fiasco of intersecting lives, like a Quentin Tarantino movie, or something where all the lives intersect, or like a Shortcuts, like a Robert Altman movie.
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
Robert Altman is so good.
Paul ended up being great. And one of the funniest scenes you'll see if you watch it is he started singing opera out of nowhere, like between takes. So we left it in as part of his character as the chief of police.
Oh, that's awesome.
So acts of desperation everywhere. But if you want to get it for free, go to Tubi.
Okay.
I think through the month.
I'll check it out because I want to watch it.
And we did something. Can I tell you something just
Please.
Because it's timely? The guy that plays the bank robber and my love interest, it happens to be African. When we cast the guy, we weren't looking specifically to make a point. We weren't trying to let's find a black person because we need a black person.
Yeah.
He just happened to be the best guy, and we hit it off. We had chemistry. He was available. My friend Vince Lozano, who brought me the script, he did Pirates of the Caribbean with him.
Oh,
so
cool.
he's done a lot, but I didn't know him. And I said, well, if he's good and we have chemistry, for sure. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
That now it's kind of timely, and that's why we wanted it out there for everybody free now, because we don't make a statement about it. It just happens to be like it should be.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. You got the best actor for the job who happens to be an African. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. What are the other two movies that you have coming out?
Well, this isn't live, so I could say it's tomorrow. But at the Cannes Film Festival, we were supposed to be there in May, where we have the premiere of Beckman, which is another movie filled with a lot of people that I consider icons. David A.R. White is the lead guy. It's kind of like John Wick or Taken. It's a guy who has to be brought back in from his bad life after being a good guy because his daughter gets kidnapped.
Right.
By a bunch of hooligans, which I'm one of. It's called Beckman. It's premiering virtually at Cannes right now, and it'll be available everywhere in fall. We've already got it distributed. I can't talk about it because the deals aren't signed, but it's going to be out everywhere, video on demand in all platforms.
Is there a trailer that we can point people to?
Well, I can't yet because they're releasing it at Cannes this week.
Gotcha.
But look for Beckman, Beckman.
Got it.
Or go to my website, KiraReedLorsch.com, and it'll be out shortly. I'm just not allowed to release it.
Got it.
It's going to be kind of a big movie.
Cool.
And anyway, the people who we're in deals with have to have a trailer release date. I can't just put it on YouTube.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah. Understand.
But I'm the only woman in the fleet of kidnapper bad guys. It's Billy Baldwin is my boss.
Cool.
Burt Young is in it, from Rocky.
Yep.
He's great.
Yep.
Jeff Fahey, who we all know from so many things, from Silverado to Lost.
The Lawnmower Man. He's in so much stuff.
Lawnmower Man.
That guy has penetrating eyes.
I know.
You know what I mean? He looks like he's looking into your soul from the TV, for God's sakes.
He's very private and very quiet. I didn't get to work with him in any scenes.
Yeah.
But I've met him, and he's like, it seems like a very shy kind of guy. He hides behind those big, beautiful, penetrating eyes.
Yeah.
But he's really good in the movie, from what I've seen.
Wasn't he in The Stand? I think he was.
I think
he
so,
was in The Stand, in the 90s TV movie miniseries.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. He's been around for ages, and now he's playing like the older, wiser guy. But he's done it all and has a long career. So all these legendary guys are fun to work with. And then there's a new hot young girl. Her name's Brighton Charbino. be on the watch for her. She's the kidnapped girl. She's a great actress. I think just turned 18, like she was 17 when we did the movie. So she's young and up and coming, and she's great too. So look for Beckman, totally exciting. And I play a really fun character. I'm in Billy Baldwin's gang, and I'm an assassin hit woman.
Yeah.
But my cover is I live in the suburbs, and I'm a soccer mom.
Oh, I love it.
So book club, tea parties. So I get to do both characters.
You've been in a lot of movies and TV shows. Is this your first foray as a villain?
No, I actually got nominated for an Emmy for the daytime Emmy for the Bays series. I'm the Madam of the Underworld. It's the vixen. I think it's easier to play the bad person.
Is it?
It's way more fun.
Yeah.
And then you can try to live at least a normal life.
Then when you can be a total jerk to your friends, be like, I'm playing in character.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready for my role. So if I'm being a total bitch, just you have to forgive me. But I like playing the vixen. I like playing the bad woman. I think it's more fun. I did a couple of I played an assassin in this movie in the 90s called Thriller Corona, hit woman, a little movie. I just I played a vampire and the perversions of science, the Zemeckis thing, but I like going dark and going evil in the movies and stuff, so I can try to be a nice, normal, healthy yogi, lady.
That's awesome. I love it.
In my normal life.
Yeah, I love it.
But still have fun.
So you started acting though as a young girl, right? You did some TV commercials, and you weren't very old. Is that right?
No, yeah, I did a couple TV commercials. I saw Romper Room on TV when I was 4, and I said, "Mom, I want to be on the show. I want to be on TV."
Yeah.
And my mom's like, "What?" Okay. I said, "Yeah, I want to go meet Miss Marianne." So she figured out how to get, and we lived in the Bay Area at the time. They shot in Oakland. So we went and we stayed at our friend's house in Oakland. Then you have to go, and then you have to meet them, and then they have to choose you to be in the audience.
Right.
But then you're filmed as part of the show. And, they already had my picture. So I got to go do it. And then I was hooked. And then got me a little agent. I did some commercials,
awesome.
And we moved around a lot. We then lived in Idaho and then Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, wow. My
stepdad was from Kentucky. So I got into acting through the theater world there. I was at the Youth Performing Arts School. And then when I came back to LA, I went to the LA County High School for the Arts. I came back early so I could get residency to go to UCLA.
That's smart.
And then I got a scholarship to the theater department there.
Wow.
And then I just started working as a teenager at 17.
So you got that bug early.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what I'm going to be in this industry. Because I love talking to people that do a little bit of everything. Because we had Bryce Hirschberg on. Do you know him?
No.
So Bryce Hirschberg was just
probably would know his face. If
he was just on the Netflix reality show Too Hot to Handle. He's a really good looking man. You know what I mean? He's from Santa Monica, and he's got the tan. Super nice guy though. He comes on and he played kind of the villain a little bit on the reality show as they, what I mean? It's not real reality,
Right.
But man, that guy
all scripted. I've worked in
most of it. He goes, most of it is scripted, but he's super infectious. You know what I mean? You start talking to him.
But you still have to bring your real self to it.
Yeah. But he wrote, directed, did all the music, did all the editing of his own movie called Counterfeits. And he stars in it, and he got all his buddies and his family involved just to do the whole thing. And it won some awards. He got a Best Actor award in Italy. And,
good for him.
Yeah, it was great. And I love meeting people that want to do a little bit of everything. And so you started doing reporting with the Playboy channel, and is it Sextera? Did I say that right? Sextera. Yeah. And you were a reporter there, and I know that you started learning a lot of the producing from that show. And did that give you the producing bug? And maybe, if I run a show, that's where you can really make a difference. Yeah.
Well, I always liked writing. I went, in school. So when and at UCLA, we had playwriting and stuff like that. And I would write things for what we call the Noon Miracles at UCLA, write a skit and then put all your friends in it and act it out. But then you have to become producer, then you have to arrange everybody to get there and what time and blah, blah, blah. So you kind of learn how to do everything, but also be the PA and get the food and take out the trash. And, you know, like you have to be a jack of all trades to get anything done. If it's your kind of baby or your idea, you have to get everyone on board and you have to be a cheerleader. You've got to love it and be passionate about it or no one else will.
That gets them infected and hopefully they start feeding up your energy.
Yeah. But I got involved with Playboy. My agent I did one of those Red Shoe Diaries, you know?
Yeah. Did you get to meet David Duchovny?
I did get to meet him, but I didn't get to work with him because all his stuff is shot separately.
You want to hear a weird story about David Duchovny?
Sure.
So my buddy,
I love weird stories.
Yeah, my buddy Brandon lives in Hollywood, and shout out Brandon. Yeah, I'm sure I won't say his last name just in case, but he had like a really good friend, and down there, and they went to lunch, and so him and his friend and his friend's girlfriend and his friend and him and his friend and his girlfriend they were together for like 5 years. And here comes David Duchovny walking into the restaurant.
Yeah.
And she fell head over heels. And he started flirting with her. And David Duchovny like bought them lunch. And he goes, hey, I'm going to buy you lunch, but we're going to go. And his girlfriend of 5 years left with him.
David Duchovny has that effect, and he's a total womanizer from what I hear.
That's what I hear.
He was picking up the wardrobe girl on set, and he was doing, I don't know if he was married to Taya Leone at the time or what, if you know, but like everybody would just like cream in their pants. That's I don't know. I didn't get to, it's just the way he is, but that's why he's a movie star and plays those kind of roles and can have, some people just have it. Yeah, he's one of those guys that has that sexy it thing. I never had it. I was kind of a tomboy.
Right.
When I was asked to, you know, go to this, and I played a kind of a tomboy gunslinging character in the Red Shoe Diaries. And then somebody saw that, and then they're like, oh, well, you should do this women's stories of passion on Showtime. Yeah. You'd be a great sidekick to the pretty girl. You know what I mean? Like I was never the gorgeous Playboy Barbie. I was just like the girl next door and kind of the funny one.
I was the same way. So, I was never GQ. You know what I mean? If I didn't make a girl laugh, I wasn't getting anywhere, you know? Yeah.
So I came into Playboy by playing all the sidekick roles. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
But then Playboy magazine did a story because they were one of the producers of Women's Stories of Passion. They did a Playboy magazine layout and they invited me to be part of it. So I got to shoot for Playboy with Arnie Freitag and like do the whole Playboy model stuff. I'm like, this is great.
What was that? What was that like? What was that environment like back then?
Well, the women rule the world at Playboy. Everyone, you have to make people so comfortable that they can take their clothes off and be sexy and be vulnerable. You have to treat them well. There's no abuse. There's no sexual harassment. Hef, ran his company with his daughter, Christy. It was very female friendly, extremely. Never had a Me Too moment at Playboy ever.
Right.
And Hef is a great guy. I mean, he threw parties and we had the best time. And, and he comes from a long line of being a civil rights advocate and a preserver of film at my alma mater, UCLA. So I knew him as a philanthropist before I ever worked for him.
That's cool.
Because he was like helping our theater department because he loved movies. Like he was an all around, and he gave women, he empowered a lot of women to go off and have amazing careers. Look at Pamela Anderson as an example,
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm still working.
Yeah. Well,
I got my start there.
A lot of people, especially on the religious front or the far right, and this isn't a political show, so it's whatever. But there's a lot of people that like to demonize them.
Yeah, well, lots of people like to demonize everybody. But guess what? The guy I'm doing the movie Beckman with, and then his next movie, God's Not Dead, he's the head of the PureFlix network. I said, just so you know, I have a background in Playboy. And he's like, that doesn't bother me. And you're great to play my villain. And I think you're fun.
That's awesome.
So I think you can have people who they believe their thing, but they don't have to agree with you necessarily. You don't have to hate each other. Why can't we work together? You bring your strengths and your uniqueness to this. You bring your strengths and why does it have to be divided?
Yeah, I love that you're saying that because we try to bring a lot of different people on, and we have people that get people for us, right? and we have other people that will do, like John and I are the main hosts, but we're doing a show every day. We're releasing a show every day. That's a lot. It's a lot, you know, and we're doing interviews about 5 times a week. It's a lot, you know. And when you have a full-time job, and then you get, and we do everything from the editing to adding music, all of it is us.
Good for you.
You know, and so it pulls a lot. So you end up having a lot of different people, and that's one of the things that we fight with. Hey, who cares if they like Trump and you like Obama or whatever it is? We're not here for that.
Just because we don't agree doesn't mean we can't work together or get along or be friends or all those things. I know there's a lot of turmoil in the world right now, and you know, a lot is going on. It's politics and you know, equality and all of that. And I think that's important. I hope we are at a cusp of change so we can, you know, get through this and love each other more, be more equal and be more less afraid and be more loving and, you know, all of those things. I remember growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, you know, for a little while, and my acting partner was a black boy. I didn't think of anything of it. Yeah. And my you know, some of my family and friends were like, you know, you can't go over to his house to rehearse because people will talk. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm doing my homework, for God's sakes. I'm rehearsing my scene. We ended up winning like the whatever little competition we were entered in to win at University of Louisville or whatever. But it was like, I was like, I didn't think about it. Right. But it's also Kentucky, which is a little less. I came from California to Kentucky. I didn't know that wasn't an okay thing to do, and I did it anyway because I'm like, and I got called an N lover. Oh. You know, and all those things. Sucks. So I don't know what they go through except from watching it happen.
It's a lot of hate in their heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People it's
who say that kind of stuff. That's a lot of hate.
Fear. It's fear. It's fear. Yeah. If we could all just like know that we're all okay in our own right. And there's room for everybody. It's not a competition, whether it be in the movies, whether it be in life, you know. If we're not all like trying to hold on to our little spot of the world so tightly, we can realize that it's this big, huge, not to get too crazy spiritual, but there's a huge universe with so much for everybody. There's an abundance of everything if we can all just tap into that, I think. So I think part of this, all of this, you know, the storm before the calm sort of thing is to get to that next level of understanding and spirituality and everyone having a better life.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Anyway. And I still have, you know, I have a movie that I was supposed to be shooting today.
Oh man, yeah, Do you have a time frame when you might get back?
That talks about that a little bit, about just like what is reality and perception and why are we fighting? Are we fighting over something real or not? And what's life and what's death? Anyway, it's called Third Floor. It's a horror movie written by my friend Nancy O'Brien. We got shut down to be shooting in May and June. So now it's weird because you have to get insurance. Right. So they're saying, okay, you're open for business now in LA, but you have to go through all their protocols. You have to prove that you're doing them. You have to insure everybody. And then you have to fly to act. We have an actor, one of the stars who was in Children of the Corn. And Billy McNamara is one of the actors.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, he plays my boyfriend who's having an affair on me. So I'm running away to Vegas I'm a washed up model, kind of like a washed up actress model, now trying to do conventions in Vegas. He's having an affair with me. And I go to this hotel, we think, and it's weird stuff starts to happen. It's kind of like a real life zombie apocalypse at the end of the world.
Right.
You know, but it's called Third Floor. We've got funding. We're ready to go.
That sounds
We're ready
fun,
to shoot. It's great. Do you know the actress Monique Parent? She was a kind of one of those, I don't want to say B-movie actresses like I was in the 90s, but she's very famous. She's like the queen of us all. She's in it. Courtney Gaines is the guy who plays the bartender from Children of the Corn. And we've got a really young
Monique Parent. I just looked her up. I know her. She's in a lot of good stuff. She's in a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, she's great. And she's a really good actress. We have a young director, Amelie, who I really like. And I think it's going to be great once we get going. But anyway, my friend Nancy wrote it. And what I loved about it, it's all about your perception of things.
Yeah. Yeah. So Monique has a crazy look because the only reason that you would, she looks like she's a 20-year-old with gray hair.
Well, she's the smartest woman I know. Like if I was willing, I'm trying to, get every little shot of this and color my grays and stay in shape so I can be the hot trophy 40-something-year-old for as long as possible. I'm not going gray. Her hair started going gray, and then she was like tired of coloring it, so she went to a couple auditions with grays and started booking. She's my age, basically, and she's booking the grandmother roles because she let her hair go gray.
Right.
She's gorgeous, and then she's so striking and different. So that's just her thing now. She's the hot. She's a little bit older than me, but she's the hot, 50, the hottest 50-year-old you've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see how people, especially in Hollywood, you guys have to change your look so drastically every so often.
But she's like Madonna. She just keeps going and keeps changing it, and that's working for her. And she books commercials and all of that. I'm not willing to do it yet.
Right, not yet. Well, you're doing a lot of work, man. You stay busy, and there's no messing around.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how your husband keeps up with you, but you must be running him around.
Oh well, part of the reason I'm staying so busy too is I lost my husband 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
He passed away. It's okay.
So like a jerk. I didn't even know that.
That's okay. So I've had a lot of free time on my hands, and instead of like going crazy or being sad or going, what do I do now? I'm just keeping working,
Yeah.
I just had a meeting today with post-production for my Rumors series where I play, it's a young Hollywood cast, and I play the acting teacher to all the young kids who are trying to make it in Hollywood. And, if I didn't have you talking to today and me doing that and the dogs to take care of, and I go nuts, during this whole quarantine time, sitting alone in the house.
Well, you're welcome to come on here anytime you want, Kira. You are a hoot to talk with. I love it because you know what you want, you know how to go after it, and you stay busy and you're open about everything. We've had people on where it's pulling teeth,
Yeah, well, it's hard to shut me up sometimes.
Well, we try not to. I try not to ask any yes or no questions because if you get the wrong person, they'll be like, "No." It's like,
Well, then why bother doing an interview? If you don't like to talk, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you don't like to do press,
why are you doing it?
No.
Yeah, just say no. That's okay. Not gonna hurt my feelings.
No, I like it. I think it's fun.
So
go ahead.
You were doing the reporting with
with Sexcetera.
Sexcetera. Sorry, I keep want to say secretariat. I keep having secretariat in my head.
It's okay. Well, I never interviewed Secretariat on Sexcetera.
That would have been interesting, right? But how did you get into producing when you're the on-air personality?
On the show?
Yeah.
Well, being the on-air personality gets you so far, and you get paid to show up, learn your lines, and go do the show. And usually they're really fun shows. And I got to travel the world. I got to go to Austria and Italy and Prague, all these places, and of course, the middle of Ohio or in Indiana, and weird places where people are doing crazy, kinky things that we were talking about. But the middle of a field in Indiana, the world's largest stripper convention, nudes are popping. But I had so much fun to go be a part of that, to be a fly on the wall in that, to go be a part of it, to interview people. Why do you do this? Why do you like this? Like, why do people do what they do? What drives people's desires is what we always tried to do. Like, we covered it like a 60 Minutes news story. So I learned from doing it for a couple of years, like what the rhythm is, what the canon is. You have intros, you have voiceovers, you have interviews, you have a lead hero interview, you light that, there's there's different little buzzes, to make a news magazine style story. So I said one time, can I try writing my own? So I did. So they gave me like a writing test.
That's awesome.
But I was also like, it's me, a camera guy, and a producer on the road, sometimes a PA, but it's three of us. So I'm holding the light sometimes. I'm helping anyway. And one of the producers there, Ross Dale, took me under his wing, and my boss, Frank Martin, and they kind of led me of how to do it. And Frank, my boss, is just like, Kira, you're a natural born producer. because I was always the kid in the neighborhood that would boss everybody around to do the show, or to, as the oldest of 5 kids, or you're, making your own plays in school. Like, you're just I don't know if I was naturally born to do it, but I'd already had a lifetime of doing it. So I wrote it, and I'm a good writer because I like writing.
Yeah.
So I wrote it. They said, great, we'll have someone else produce you, for the own thing you wrote. Then it became, we've got some new girls in, and can you help the new 20-something? Because at this point, I'm like 32. I'm over the hill for Playboy. I'm 32 years old, because I've been doing it for several years now, 5 years now. Then they started having me help them, and to have an extra woman on set. Like, you send this new young 20-year-old Playboy model girl in to be a reporter in this horrible situation. It's better if there's another woman there too. So I would sort of like be the house mama to the new girls. So then I would write. I figured out what their strengths were. So I would write stories for them. So then I would write and produce for the new people. Then they're starting new shows. They're like, Kira, will you come sit in and like powwow? Tell us your thoughts on how we should do this. Like, and I would always try to make it TV for 2, which is men will like it and women will like it.
Right.
So they wanted my female perspective, which I thought was great. And so they hired me to help develop the show 69 Sexy Things to Do Before You Die. I was not on that show, but I cast that show, and I was the supervising producer of that show.
Yeah.
And I produced the fun episodes like Tantric Sex Vacation to Maui. I'm like, I'll take that one. I'll write and produce that one in Maui.
Because you're going to Maui.
Yeah. And by the time you get there, all your work is pretty done.
Yeah.
You've written it, you've set it up, everything's there. So I'm like, you guys do, the cameraman knows what to do. You guys go do your thing. I'll watch from over here in the sun, So I'd pick the ones that I wanted to go to on vacation, basically.
Oh my God, that's awesome. You need an assistant? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, this is, now 10 years ago at least.
Yeah.
But that was the last one I did of those was, I think, in 2008. It aired, they still run. You can see me on any given Sunday at like 7 a.m, either me or a show that I've written or produced. I did also the Naked Happy Girls series. I was a writer producer on that one. I'm not in it. It's,
so you really cut your chops on writing and producing there at Playboy TV.
Yeah. And then I got to do some for E! And for Discovery and for Travel Channel, because it's all the same canon.
Yeah.
If you have a resume that you can show that you can write and produce and know how to, edit, log and stuff like that, you can do anything. So after Playboy, I got hired to do some other things I did. And that's how I met all the Daytime Emmy people. I got hired to be the backstage host at the Daytime Emmy Awards. And I was good at that. So they hired me to be the host for the Hollywood Christmas Parade red carpet.
That's awesome.
Like, it's the same skill. And I was glad I was able to graduate and not just be the Playboy model who gets stuck there,
right?
But then can take the skills that I learned there and go on to our next stages of life.
Well, you kind of broke the stereotype as well.
I think that's good. Let's keep breaking it.
Yeah, because you see pictures and you see like a Playboy model, and then you just think, oh, she must be dumb. You know what I mean? She's doing a pictorial and stuff, and then here you come along, and you're like, no, fuck you, dude. We're not dumb.
Yeah,
we're writing, we're
Jenny
producing.
Jenny McCarthy paved her own way to do her own
big
thing.
Time.
Yeah, and she's doing it. Like, there's a lot of people that have broken it, but when I say a lot, I think you're right. It is sort of still the minority.
It's hard. I think it's a hard breakthrough. It's
a hard breakthrough, but you've really got to own what you've done.
Yeah, you can't be embarrassed, right?
Yeah, you've got to be like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, it was empowering. Yeah, it wasn't my ass great when I was 24. Still not bad now, actually. But it's a different thing. You don't go around, I don't need to do that anymore. That's a young girl's game. So, but like, what can you learn from it? How can you grow from it? And it's also, I just want like people to know, if they're listening or care or whatever, that you can overcome anything. What you've done is not who you are. Own your stuff. If you worry about hiding it or you're embarrassed about anything, you just got to own it and move on. Or if you make mistakes, which we've all made 7,000, I've probably made, at least 18 today.
Right.
You got to go like, what? Yeah. And sometimes you get overwhelmed or you get like bogged down or you beat yourself up. It's like, we can't do that. We've got to be like, okay, how can I do this better? How can I move on? How can I do something with it? And for anybody to have, don't let any fear of who you are or what you've been like hold you back from doing what you want to do next.
Yep. I can't say any better than that.
Yeah.
I can't say any better than that. Hey, tell me about what your new web series, Rumors.
Well, Rumors is the one where I'm playing the acting teacher to the young kids in Hollywood. It's in post-production.
Oh, that's right.
I think it's going to be out this fall. We've had meetings. We're not sure where it's going to go yet. It's definitely Quibi material. But we're trying to do it short form. It might be a feature, but this is also about, it's a young girl who happens to be a lesbian. She's the one who wrote it.
Yeah.
And she's Nicole Vernerak. I can never say her name right. But she's really smart. She wrote this for herself. Her and her partner, Matt Vieira, who's directing it, are great young 20-somethings. And I just wanted to support them. And a friend of mine, Vincent DePaul, was helping produce them for a while, and he brought me in, and I said, I think I'll be Ellen. I'll be the acting coach. And then I'm one of the producers on it. But, they're doing really all the work, but I just try to steer them in the right direction and help where I can. And it was super fun to make. And then right after that, I was finishing that, and I had to get on a plane to go to London to shoot Amityville Witches, which is also going to be out this fall. I do play the Good Witch in this. And we're the aunts to the lead young girl in it, who's being taken control into the academy by the bad witch.
Nice.
So we have to go save her and all the other girls, but we're out there to save our niece. And it's funny and campy, but still super scary.
Yeah.
Which I liked, and I helped develop the script when that happened. Yeah. So I said, I don't really like 2 slasher horror movies, but as long as it can be fun and adventurous, and it's also a female empowered movie. It's a female director. It's all the leads in the movie are female. So it was like a You Go Girl film. And I said, I want to be and we were talking about me being the bad witch, but then by the time we were into it, they really wanted me to be a good witch because we've got a trilogy going. So then these 3 witches will go from cool. Amityville. We're going to Salem next. So what look for Amityville Witches, but look for this whole witch series of us 3 witch sisters going in to save the day.
Yeah. When it comes out, you let us know because we will promote it.
That's also follow, I believe, but I will let you know dates as soon as. And we're all connected on social media now too. I went and followed you. So
cool! I'll follow you back. Matter of fact,
at Twitter. Are you on Twitter? On Twitter, I did Twitter, and I liked you guys on Facebook. I just like the show, and I don't know if you do Instagram. That's what I mostly do.
Yeah, we do.
Now I have to do TikTok. Oh my God, there's so many to do.
I don't do. See, I'm terrible at social media. And Johnny,
it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, and Johnny's not the best. We're trying to find a social media manager. Our website does really well, right? We'll get 30, 40, 50,000 hits a month. And so it'll do really well. But but we're just so bad at, we try to keep up, but it's tough.
You're doing a lot is what it sounds like to me. Like at a certain point, you can't do everything. Right. Like the Beckman movie, I think.
I just followed you on Twitter.
Oh, thank you. Great.
Yeah.
Just Twitter's my least what I use.
Yeah.
like I do just because I don't like the platform. I don't like not editing. I get more hate on Twitter than I do.
Yeah, it gets a lot of vitriol.
Instagram's my thing. Like I'm verified on Instagram because I've got 300,000 followers or something because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I barely go on Twitter. I don't really like it, but I know you have to be on everything. But you can't do everything. Like you can't do all your social media. You can't do all your editing. You can't do all your shows.
We concentrate on Facebook and Twitter, and then our buddy Casey concentrates on Instagram for us. But just because I'm on Facebook, because my whole family is on Facebook, so that's how we are messaging back and forth is almost always through Facebook Messenger.
And that's the best place to put links up in movies and things. I think so. Facebook for you guys because you're sharing your show.
Yep.
You can't share a show on Instagram.
Not very easily.
No, because you can't put a link up unless it's like just your link in bio and all of that.
Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. They see the episode and they can't go there. Yeah.
My problem with Facebook is I go on to like check my messages or post something, and like 17 people are, hey, Kira's online, and they try, like, I can't get anything done. I have to learn how to turn that stuff off. So I go there the least because it's the most accosting.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Will you read my screenplay? Hey, will you marry me? Hey, I saw this movie you were really hot in.
How many?
Like, I'm like, ah.
Do you get a lot of people that ask you to marry you, like from you don't even know?
It's
How
crazy.
weird is that?
But it's because they think they know you because they've seen 20 of your movies.
Right. They saw
or they follow you and then
Cheerleader Ninja 50 times, so they know exactly who you are.
Yeah. And I'm sure like they're, doing whatever they're doing, so they feel intimately connected to me for some of my sexier movies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they think I'm their fantasy girl.
Right. But in life,
then I'm really there to talk to them. I'm going to be there to talk to them on Facebook. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to respond to my sister's email, Messenger, whatever the hell it is.
Oh man, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine having to deal with that.
You know what? It's kind of fun, and I just have to have boundaries sometimes.
It's like exhausting though.
I took a weekend off of social media because I was and I turned off my phone for a little while, and I was invited to this little resort social distancing grand opening thing. So on the way from my Oceanside place to my LA place to be in LA this week, I stopped for a night.
Nice.
And just turned off the phone for like 48 hours. Yeah, it's great. And then you get re-energized to want to do it. It can't be constant.
I just did that this weekend. I just shut everything down. Took off to my brother's house, him and his wife and his 2 kids, and took my kid, and we just relaxed, and we sat. Yeah. He has a nice house, and he's got a few acres, and we just sat on the back deck, had the fire going, drinking some nice wine, and just
sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. That's just the way to do it, and just and really just shut down. I need it. I'm going, you go nuts. Speaking of like getting help, I stopped doing my Facebook fan page for this reason. Like I just got too accosted, too many people, thousands of people. And so there's too many people coming at you. But my friend Angelique DeVries, who does some of the soap peoples, including Ron Moss, from The Bold and the Beautiful. Yeah. I met her because I went to visit Ron and Devin. They're actually stuck over in Belgium for quarantine. His wife, Devin DeVasquez, I know her from 25 years ago because we were in Playboy stuff together. Oh, cool.
She was a playmate in the 80s. She was great. So anyway, I went to visit them, met Angelique, came back, and this is a couple years ago, and we stayed friends, and I visited her again with my friend Nancy, who wrote Third Floor. Yeah. Her and her mom, and she showed me around Amsterdam when we were there in Amsterdam. I won a Lifetime Achievement Award in Amsterdam last year. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it. It was with the
New Vision International Film Festival or whatever. But they were really sweet. So I was like, okay, I'll go over there and get it, and I'll hang out with Angelique. And then she saw how much trouble I was having. She's like, why aren't you posting any of this on Facebook? I'm like, I just can't deal with it. I just can't deal with it. Yeah. I can't do it and deal with it. She said, would you like me to help you create a fan page? So she's now running my fan page, and the Kira Reed Lorsch fans on Facebook. So I can I can do my stuff, which is most of my friends and family and actual friends on my page. And she can handle that stuff. And you do need help. And she's great. She posts something every day, and join Kira Reed Lorsch fans. She screens stuff for me. Like, you might want to read this message, or don't. I dealt with this person who was giving some trouble. To have somebody manage it is really, really key. And she does a great job. So I shouldn't tell you. We're getting
close to that. We got to make it to where we're turning a profit to pay somebody to do that.
To pay somebody.
Yeah, but I think we're getting close, which would be great. Our dream is to have somebody editing and somebody doing all the social media.
Learn how to do a radio show to be your social media intern.
Yeah,
he's good at his thing, and he can learn from you with all the great things that you know how to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's good advice. That's great advice, actually.
Good. Well, put up the notice.
Right.
Intern wanted.
We should do that. Actually, I think we are going to do that. That's a great idea.
It's a good trade.
Yeah,
we should do that completely. I agree.
So, Kira, I wanted to ask you, because you're doing some numerous charitable organizations. You work with the Thalians and Hollywood for mental health. And I was kind of hoping you can give us an overview of what that is all about. And maybe if you have anything going on that people can be a part of, maybe you can tell us how people can get, connected with it.
Sure. Well, I'm not the president of the Thalians for Hollywood for Mental Health. I'm still a supporter, but I was with them for 10 years. My presidency came up this past year, so I'm not the president anymore, but I really loved what they were doing, and I helped bring them to UCLA Operation Mend, which is my alma mater, UCLA, but also it's the hospital that puts the men and women who've been blown up in Iraq and Afghanistan back together again physically. Wow. And we've given, now over $2 million to them for their mental health programs. Wow. For them and their families. Talk about PTSD. We all think we're having PTSD from, being closed up for a couple months. Right. How about being in Afghanistan for months at a time away from your family? You watch your, platoon get blown up by a mine, and you come back and you're disfigured and you've lost your hands and your face is totally burnt.
And
how do you get back
guilt on top of all that?
Yeah. So now that's PTSD. Yeah. So I thought that's where we need it most. So that's why I supported the Thalians, and I did a couple fun events for them. We honored Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion and made a lot of money. We honored Smokey Robinson at the House of Blues, and we made a lot of money for them. And I just like throwing the parties. Like my job was to put on the show and write the show and host the show. Yeah. I did the part that I know how to do. And then I'm also a supporter of Imperfectly Perfect campaign, which is an Australian guy, Glenn Martson, who's really started this. And he's younger, he's savvy, he's online. He's really good at all the social media stuff. But he invited me to talk about my story with mental health and interview me. And so now I'm a kind of a spokesperson to say for the Imperfectly Perfect campaign is a really good thing. That's just raising awareness for mental health. And I think this whole COVID-19 quarantine business is good, is really going to shine a spotlight on mental health because we're all feeling it. Yeah. Yeah. Having a root shock, having our lives pulled out, having our normalcy pulled out, having to be locked up, having to be away from people we love. We're all having to deal with how that affects our brain, our mental health, our mood, everything. So I think he's really good at the modern world version of that. And then I'm on the board of California Science Center, which is just reopening. Yay! With social distancing and doing all the right things and masks and all that. But the kids are coming back. My husband was on the board there, and I took over his spot years ago before he passed away, about 10 years ago. But there's the Robert H. Lorsch Family Pavilion there that he built because that was his big thing. He loved space. He loved science. Awesome. He never went to college. He was self-made and self-learned. And so he wanted to give something back to kids and, to people who otherwise couldn't afford to get, there's kids in classrooms who don't even have science books, let alone a beautiful place to go with hands-on experiments. And we do science camp, usually hands-on science camp every year. This year we did it virtually, and it's still going on. If you go to the CaliforniaScienceCenter.org, and this really helps kids and teachers give their students, their children, something to do that's fun, educational, and interactive. So if you go to CaliforniaScienceCenter.org, you look up Stuck at Home Science. It's on the front page, and there's all these experiments for the past, 2.5 months, I think, of backlog of science projects for kids.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to put that in the show notes.
Cool. Yeah. So I really love them, and I'm continuing to be on the board with them. Yeah, but the Space Shuttle Endeavour there, for goodness sake.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got a space shuttle to play
Next time I go down to California to visit family, I'm going to go and check it out.
It's amazing. It's one of my favorite places.
My dad grew up in Newport.
Oh, yeah.
And so we go there all the time. Mm-hmm. Newport, and my aunt still lives in Laguna, and my cousin is I think in San
That's
Diego.
where I was this on my staycation this weekend.
Nice. I love it.
Was down there. Yeah. Dana Point.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, Kira, we've been on for almost an hour.
Oh my goodness. Time flies when you're having a great conversation.
You're right. I'm so glad that you had a good time because I had a wonderful time. I would love to have you back on if you're ever interested, especially anytime you have something going on and you want help with promotion.
Well, when I have a new batch of projects, I will make sure that Roger lets you know.
Yes, please do.
You guys are easy breezy and fun, and I really appreciate you having me on and letting me tell all my stories.
Well, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful night, and I hope all of your endeavors this year are giant successes.
Thank you so much.
And we're back.
So
that was a lot of fun, Matt. You learned stuff on that one.
Yeah, she's a really nice girl. Really nice lady. I can't wait to hopefully have her back on because, she's just.
I want to somehow convince her to come do interviews for us, like be an interviewer and interview people for us because she's great.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Yeah. So, Kira, if you're listening, you should come do some interviews for us because that'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. She would be awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, dang, man. I think that was a good show. Yeah. If you guys are hearing this and you haven't tuned out yet and you want to hear more from people that are similar to Kira, maybe some producers, maybe you're into editing. I don't know. Maybe you love actors or comic book artists and writers, then I implore you to go over to spoilerverse.com and check out our back issues of Spoiler Country. And while you're there, maybe you are a nerd that loves horror. Well, check out Nerds from the Crypt. And maybe you love reading a blog about the supernatural, then you should probably check out the Sarah K Files. And
which is becoming a podcast.
Which will become a podcast, which is going to be exciting.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome because Sarah and I are working on doing a good, we're working on actually producing it into, with music, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And then, beyond that, what else have we got, Johnny? We got Bridging the Geekdom. What are they about?
They're about taking two things and bridging them building a bridge and going from one geekdom to the next one. And I know I say that jokingly, but really a lot of things that they're focusing on is crossing the genres and talking to cosplayers about their favorite comics, talking to comic people about their favorite sci-fi movies. And right now they're heavy deep in the Snyder Cut because Robert is a huge proponent of Zack Snyder.
Yeah, he loves those movies.
All in. Yeah,
he's all
which is cool. I mean, I respect the passion, man. I respect the passion.
And there's the funny book Forensics with Greg Smith
is, with Dan. And Dan.
Yeah. Well, you started saying it, so I was stopped so you could say his whole name.
I always forget how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just gonna say Dan.
Yeah, Dan Shabbat.
No offense, Dan. Dan Shabbat. There you go. That's close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're funny book friends, but they dive into stuff. They are officially launching on your birthday, which was actually, as of this release, was 2 days ago. So the first episode released 2 days ago on the 5th. Yep. So check them out because it's good.
Yeah. Dan is one of the most he's one of the most well-read comic book aficionados you're going to meet.
He's well-read, he's knowledgeable about what he's talking about, and he can look at it objectively as well.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's insane. It's awesome. So,
yeah.
Check it out. There's more there, too. So maybe you love music. You should probably check out Misery Point Radio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
with Mike Peacock.
Yep. My peacock, my peacock,
my peacock. Yeah. And do that. And while you're on the website, too, check out the other articles and stuff. We have previews, reviews, and we have thought pieces and stuff by Jay Rose and Sarah Kane and everybody else. And we have
click the store. Click the store.
And click the store because you can go buy a t-shirt or a hoodie, look fly as hell, and then buy a mask to cover your face up because we go in public. We know you care about people and you don't want to have this pandemic last forever and kill more people.
No one needs to see this mug. No one needs to see this mug.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but even we're sure you're pretty underneath the mask. It's fine, but just you care about your fellow citizens. Put on a fucking mask.
There you go. Sorry.
It's all right.
The store.
There's one more thing to do, Kenric. Go ahead and do it.
In oceans of podcasts,
we are Cthulhu.
As Cthulhu compels you to do.
Open the mind
and read more.
I couldn't hear what you were doing. What is going on in the back?
I was just trying to be subtle, like underneath you. You know what I mean? This door. Like this.